Well, welcome everybody. Here we are. It's our very last finish along Zoom. So glad to see all of your faces. We might have more people that pop in as we get going here, but I want to say I'm happy to see Bev. Bev, it's been so long since we've seen you. How are you?
I did pop in on the last one, but I was leading a quilt retreat with an internationally known quilter, and I had to have my cat put down that day. And
Oh,
I was devastated. I haven't done as well with it as I thought I would, but I tuned in, I saw your faces, and I just started crying again. So that's why I checked out. But yeah, I just I was doing some very simple knitting, just kind of as a consolation type thing. But I haven't gotten anything right, and I do hope this is washable yarn because it's full of salt water now.
well, blocked with your own tears is a very special type of
Yeah,
project. And I think knitting can really be that type of sauce. Oh my gosh, look at your
in my
yarn.
commemorative knitting bowl.
Oh,
He was a black kitty, so but
That is so cute. And we're so
he's
sorry
still
for your
always with
loss.
me. Well, thank you, but it was time. I just didn't expect it to be that soon, or to be in the middle of running a big quilt retreat either. So, but
Well,
life is what happens when you make other plans. So,
that's right. I remember seeing you pop in and I could tell that you were outside and I thought, oh, right, she's at the quilt retreat. But we didn't know about the other part.
no, no, and I just, like I said, I just hopefully salt water hasn't damaged the computer either. But
Well, so
thank you
far so
guys.
good. We can see you, so that's good.
Yes, yep.
We're
So
glad that you're here. What
thank
yarn are
you.
you using for your consolation knitting?
The one that I got at the beginners knitting
Oh,
class,
nice.
it's a nice yarn to work with, and it's a beautiful color. And I'm working on the fingerless mitts. That was the
Excellent.
bonus pattern. So
Wonderful.
thank you. But
Glad you're here. Um, yeah, it's summer's a hectic time for people, which I think is part of the other reason why this finish line is good because it's just, you're dropping in and it's not like you're trying to keep up with anybody but yourself.
right, and it sort of forces you to take an hour and sit down, and just talk to and listen to people. So and get inspired too. So I'm glad to see you all.
Good. Well, let's see. I think we should hear from Pat. I want to spotlight you so we can see your cowl.
Oh, that's pretty.
Mm,
Very pretty.
this is the yarn that I got from Mountain Meadow Wool some time ago, and it's their Honeybee Cowl. And it took just almost the full skein. I think there's 350 yards. It's a lace pattern, so I guess Iris won't be doing this one for a while. But it'd be a fun challenge. I only had to take out about 2 repeat sections to get back to my mistake and fix it, and you have to do that 1 stitch at a time. You can't I didn't think about putting in lifelines. I don't remember to do that. So I was 1 stitch at a time for full 2 patterns, and you can see these are little bees. Can you see that?
those
Or
are
they could
so
be
pretty.
dragonflies. My sister-in-law likes dragonflies, so I'm thinking maybe this might be her Christmas present.
Oh,
And the pattern calls for 12 repeats of the bees, and 1 skein did 10 repeats, so that's as far as I went.
oh, well, there you go.
So I've got a full skein to do something else with. but
It
this
looks
hasn't
lovely.
been washed or blocked yet, but it'll be great.
And Pat, what is the fiber content?
Hang on. It is 50% bamboo and 50% wool. And
Okay.
it's their wool. It's their mountain merino wool from the Pheasant Ranch in Casey, Wyoming.
Oh, cool. Well, it's
I
very
like
pretty on
them.
you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And I like it against that
Okay.
blue. It looks so cheerful.
I thought so. I didn't plan that. I just thought that looks pretty good with blue. I think I'll try that. So anyway,
Nice.
somebody else needs to try it and see how much fun it was.
Very cool. Well, thanks for sharing that.
And I brought along hang on, the Choose Kindness shawl that I was working on. And I think it was featured in one of your, so this is really how big it is when it's blocked.
Wow.
I know and that's doubled, but it is so soft and with the particular yarn I used, and it wrapped around and ties, and it has a nice, because when I took the picture, I hadn't blocked it yet. So when I blocked it, it grew.
Mm.
But anyway, that's a fun one if y'all want something fun to do that works up in kind of a hurry.
And it's a lot of eyelets, right? Just a lot of
Yes, it
eyelets.
is. Uh-huh.
Nice.
This particular one, there's 4 in the group. There's 4 different styles in the group, and one of them is no eyelets at all. And then the next one is like every 4 rows there's eyelets, and then every 3 rows or something. And then this one is I like eyelets, so this was every other section.
That's fabulous.
Anyway,
So fun.
Yep, that's it, girls.
Well, if you take a picture of your cowl once it's blocked, I haven't put together the final email yet for the finish along. There
Okay,
still could be time for our poster
Okay.
child of the finish along, Pat.
I'll do it.
Awesome. Let's see how about Beth? Beth, how are you doing?
I am doing fine. I will apologize if I suddenly disappear. I'm getting ready to leave on vacation tomorrow. So I'm also like doing, 5 tasks at the same time. But I did want to jump on. So I have, after finishing up those other items, I've been sort of all over the place. So I was working on 2 different pairs of socks. I got 1 sock done each of each pair, so I'm on the 2nd sock, and then but then decided I'm probably going to reknit the one. This is the sock. They're little shorties. I'm probably going to reknit it because it fits, but it feels a little loose. So when I started the 2nd one, I started it with less stitches, and I think it's going to be better that way. So I'm sort of in a redoing stuff. So then I had, at the beginning of the summer, I had made a top, finished a top, wore it twice, and just felt like it was too big. Ripped it all out. So I'm started redoing that one.
Woo! What's the top pattern?
The top pattern, I don't even think I took a picture of it. It's the yarn was this stuff I'd had forever. It was like a cotton tape yarn. So I think that also caused the fabric to grow a little bit. But the top is called, it's real easy. It's a striped tee. I'm still working through my gauge on things, like doing gauge and then figuring it out, because I feel like I've done a couple of start and then redo, because it's just a little big. All right, let me see. I'm almost to. It is called. So, are you familiar with UKnit? EWE knit. I don't know if it's a company that makes yarn, but they also do a lot of patterns. on their site. And if you sign up for their newsletter, sometimes you can get the patterns for free. They'll be on Ravelry, but like I've gotten things through their newsletter for free. And this one's called Striped Tee. I don't know if
Oh, okay. Hold it back. Oh, it's a little blurry. We might not be able to get it.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, there we go. Yep.
Yeah, it's really easy. And I really liked it. And it did look nice in the yarn I did, but it was too big.
Too big.
So yeah.
So you just decided to make it right. And I love that.
Yeah. So I have I've got like 3 or 4 projects packed in my bag to go with me on vacation. So we'll see how much I actually get done.
Great. And where are you going on vacation and for how long?
So about 10 days. I am going first out to Chicago I have my 2 daughters live there, so I'm picking them up. And then we're going to go down to Iowa to visit my sister for a couple days, and then back up to Chicago.
Nice.
So a lot of family, so it'll be good.
Family time, and hopefully you'll have a lot of time to drive to knit while other people drive you.
Well, I'm doing most of the driving. So.
Oh no.
But that's okay. I did have another question. So this weekend on some of the sites, Instagram sites, the yarn is, the brand name of the yarn is URTH.
Earth, yeah.
Yeah. And they have a new, it sort of resembles like the spin cycle yarn. It's sport weight. And they had some really pretty colors. When you did the shift, did you record notes on how to pick out the colors?
Yeah. So it was like, I think really challenging for some folks, I think the color picking. What we sort of ended up with is, so as we were coaching people with their color choices, what we would say is like, start by gravitating to a color or a skein that just like speaks to you. You know, you just it pops off the wall just for you, and then build your shift around that. And so typically what we say is you want a color A, B, and C. You want C to be your pop, you want B to be a contrast, and you want A to be kind of like, you know, the middle child that gets along with everybody. And so if you go back scrolling through our Instagram back to when we were doing the shift, you'll see a lot of color combinations that we posted that might jog your thinking. One of the yarns that we just got in actually are some new colors of it's a Queensland yarn, and it's called Rainbow Beach, and that also has
at those two.
A spin cycle kind of a look to it. And gosh, some of the new colors are good. So we're pretty excited to have that in the sport section as well. But yeah, I think the thing is I've never seen a shift I didn't love in terms of colors. So as long as you're picking 3 colors that you feel excited about that seem to sort of sing with each other, I think you're going to have a really beautiful garment to wear.
That was sort of like something I had in mind to do in the fall, because the Andrea Mowry just had her big pattern sale. So
she did, yeah. Well, and I will also say, Beth, and maybe you saw this or you'll see it when you look, a lot of us used fingering weight to do a slightly smaller shift. And I made 2. I made one in the sport and one in the fingering using like Machida and some sock yarn. And I think I typically will reach for that smaller one. And it's not small, it's not tight. It's just because it's a finer yarn. And I think I think I use the same needle size that the pattern calls for, giving it that nice drape and flexibility. So I reach for that one all the time. That one to me feels like I can put it over anything. The other one is a little bit bigger, so it becomes more of a statement or more of like a put it on over your coat kind of thing for me anyway.
I think I probably would err on the smaller.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Great. Well, let's see. Who else can we hear from? How about Mary Ellen? How are you doing today?
I'm fine. I'm working on the Anchor baby cardigan.
Oh, nice.
So it's
Oh.
I mean it's bigger than this, but it's on the this is
Oh, I love it.
where I am with this.
Mm.
And then I cast on the Christmas socks, but I didn't really do anything with them. And then speaking of the shift, I was going through my stash and I do want to make another one. So this is what I have picked out.
Ooh, nice.
And this with it.
Oh,
So kind of like,
beautiful.
Yeah.
so
Oh, yeah.
that really, I mean, I know I was frustrated in the beginning, but it really was a fun pattern and it keeps your mind going. And
Yes.
I have some travel coming up in early September, so I thought that would be good to work on it.
Beautiful. Love those. Those are great combos.
Thanks.
And your little cardigan, so sweet.
Yeah, this is going to be really cute. And I got some buttons in the shape of hearts, kind of a silvery. We'll see if they work with it, but I'll try them.
And who is the little person who's going to be the lucky recipient?
This is a niece that's having a baby early winter.
Nice.
So,
So sweet.
and she lives in California, so she can wear it all year round.
Yeah. Oh, perfect.
What kind of yarn is it?
This is Barocco.
Oh.
What's it called? Vintage.
Yeah, vintage. Vintage is one of our favorites to recommend for kids stuff because it's like 50-50 wool acrylic, and so it's machine washable.
It's my favorite thing to make baby sweaters with.
And it's so soft. It feels
It's
so
so soft.
soft.
Yeah.
They
What
do a
weight
great
is it?
job. It's a worsted.
Oh, okay.
It also comes in DK. It's called
Yep.
Vintage DK. And the worsted is just called Vintage.
And then there's vintage chunky, and there's vintage alpaca. It's a whole thing.
Right.
Well, great. Let's see. Who else can we hear from here? Julie, how are you doing? You still working on your little person Anchor?
It went back into timeout because so
Okay.
many other things have come up. So I am a bit twisted, but I'm still
Ooh.
working on the sliding is fun. And this has a definite recipient in mind, and the mommy is going to be working through the end of this month. So I only have this much left of the 2 balls of yarn. And that's not too far because this is chunky. So maybe I'll have this ready to take in the next time I go in next week. I hope. If not next week, then the following time.
And that was a cumulus rainbow or the cumulus degradé?
The degradé
Yep.
on the gray.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. It's so pretty.
I'm just hoping she's having a girl, but I won't be sexist about my colors. The thing that took a huge amount of my attention was, as with one of our compatriots, I've been working on a striped t-shirt. And this is a Barocco sorbet pattern. And I'm almost done. But
oh, wow.
I just need to finish the neckline and the sleeves and weave in all the bat Julian ends from the stripes.
I love that. That's so beautiful.
I've tried it on and it actually fits me properly.
Oh, great.
So it's a tiny bit baggy right in the back because I'm bigger in the front than the back. But that's okay. I was fussing a little and my husband said, "Oh, it's very slimming." At which point I said, "I guess I'll shut up."
And I'm sorry, did you say the yarn, Julie? Did I miss that?
You didn't miss it. I'm looking to see if I've got a ball band or if I stupidly move them all out of here. Did I make notes? Always a good question. Fiddly dee, construction notes. I must apologize. I don't have a ball band here right
Okay.
now.
But do you think it's like a cotton blend? Like, well, yeah.
It is a cotton,
Or
and it's a slight thick and thin effect,
mm-hmm.
and it's a DK weight.
Nice.
And if you really want to know, I have one place I can go look.
Oh, I mean, I like to nerd out about yarn, but I was more, the fiber content is always fun to hear about.
Yeah, this is definitely a cotton, and so I am a little concerned that it will bag a bit in the wearing. Now, if it goes longer, I won't be too upset. I purposefully made it 3 inches longer than the pattern called for because that's an awkward place for me. You and I have discussed length of garment before.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we talk about this all the time, and even just last week with somebody who was working here, she had her Anchor shirt and she tried it on and she just finished it and she was like, I don't know that I like where this falls on me. So she just took out the bottom and yeah. So do you think your yarn is machine washable?
It doesn't say so. However, actually, I will run and get a ball band here in just a second. One of my friends has washed and dried a similar garment that she finished earlier in the season, and she's happy with it. My other friends, because I've been working on this with another Zoom group out here on the West Coast. Several of the other people have said, at least don't put it in the dryer until after you've worn it. So, because I was threatening to just wash and dry, but I think Bob may be right. I may need to at least lay it flat the first time, but I'm going to measure it before I wash it so that I block it back to those same proportions since I like them. And I'll be right back.
Well, let me just say one thing. So with my Anchors, which is the Linello, so it's the cotton linen, a little viscose, it is machine washable, so I wash it. And the first time I laid it out to dry, fine. I'm finding that because I honestly, I do not wash it after every single wash. I just don't. I mean,
yeah.
And but I do throw it in my dryer for, I put it on low or I put it in with other things and I dry it. I set the timer for maybe like 10 minutes just to take a little bit of the moisture out, and it's actually helped to soften it, and it gives it back its form, because with a linen it's gonna grow a little bit, and then just a few minutes in the dryer, and the first time I did it, I like stood there and I watched it and I took it out after 3 minutes and I put it back in, and then I took it out after 5 minutes. So be careful, but that might be a nice way to, if you do get some growth, to get everything back together.
I like the sound of that. And I will be right back.
So while she's gone, I'd like to ask a question. So
yes.
The washing and drying of a garment, especially throwing it in the dryer, makes me nervous, but only because I've only used wool. So is it true that the cotton won't grow? Or
especially 100% cotton, and I would say linen has the propensity and potential, depending on how it's spun, to have a little bit of growth over time. And so, I mean, I wouldn't do it with every yarn, but knowing that, I was going to be really careful and watch it, and the way that and I'm not saying that it shrinks, it just like sucks everything back in a little bit. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you put on your jeans and after you wear them a few days, like the knees look a little bit sagged out. It's kind of the same thing, I think.
Okay, this is Barocco Meraki,
Oh, Meraki, yeah. So that's
Yeah.
washable.
71% cotton, 24% hemp, 5% poly.
Mm-hmm.
The poly holds it together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Makes
Yep.
poly
me
is our
nervous.
friend in moderation.
In moderation, for
yes.
sure.
It says machine wash in cold water on delicate cycle, lay flat to dry.
So mine says lay flat to dry too, and I definitely did that the first time. And then after wearing it and feeling like, wow, this is just sort of loosening up a little bit.
Yeah.
It was actually a cue from Kristen with hers, and she knit hers in the oh my gosh, the monochrome cotton. And she said she tossed it in the dryer and it kind of helped it just regain its form a little bit. So just use with caution, but
Yeah,
an
I
idea.
wouldn't plan to dry it to bone dry
No.
or overheat it. Either of
Yeah.
those would be a real problem.
I like take it out when it still feels a little damp and then I lay it flat, but just that little bit of time I think helps. Yeah. Well, let's see, Wendy, I see you're wearing one of your beautiful cowls. Maybe you're working on a shift, it looked like.
How did you guess? Well, this is the Pheno one that I guess I didn't send you the picture of the Pheno cowl. I actually blocked it and it was really loose, and I did exactly that. I put it in the dryer like for the last I watched it every minute, and it did kind of just gave it more form and structure, because
Mhm.
one end has ribbing and one end is just rolled. So, but I did
Nice.
that with both my anchor sweaters. The first one was the Sonata.
Mhm.
And that one really, like you said, just it needs a little drier to get in shape again. The second one I did was the line, that cotton
Yeah.
thing. That one's more uniform, and it didn't take as much in the dryer, but it just needs a couple minutes to get it back into some shape after
Yeah.
you. But this, you were talking about colors of the shift. I don't know if you can.
Oh, look at
You,
that.
you helped me online pick this out, Iris, and it was the narwhal on the round, and then the neon, and now I'm finally getting into the rebel part of it, which I
Oh
don't know
my
if you can see.
God, I
Yeah.
love this so much.
But I did try a few different color things and ripped it out and not, but it's different than my first one, because the first one I did the background all the same. So
Mhm.
I'm finding I really have to pay attention to the instructions. Then I didn't do shift colors in the background like they said. So it's like a different garment, obviously, but and I didn't do it exactly the way it says to do with the ABCs, but I like the way it's coming out anyways. Yeah.
So beautiful. That's just going to be gorgeous in all seasons.
Yes, and I
I
almost dug out my longest day project, which it was a sweater I started for my mother, and my mother passed away in 1990. And
oh,
so I have the front, the back, and about almost all the sleeves done, but it's like a real lacy, shocking pink color. I think it's a penny striker, one of
wow.
those.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna get it out, and because you wrote on one of your last emails about projects that you like or not like to finish, and that one came to mind. So I said I got to dig it out and see. So
See if it still holds up.
yes, exactly.
Oh,
Anyway.
nice. Great to see the cowl on your person.
I still want to do a shift in sport weight. I haven't done that yet. So
Mhm.
that'll be
So
my,
what weight is this when you're working on?
this is fingering.
Oh, okay,
This is
beautiful.
on the round, that plush. It's from
Plush
Casual,
single.
plush
Mhm.
single.
Nice.
And so that's the glow, is the bright neon one, the glow?
The glow, yeah.
I think that is just going to be so beautiful, because like, imagine putting that on in the middle of winter when everything is gray and everything is awful and you're just dying for color, and you'll put that on and be like, ah, yes.
But I agree with you about the weight. Like the first one I made was fingering, and it's just great to just throw it on because it's light enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ah, so good. Well, let's see. So I finished, oh gosh, where are they? I have too many projects in my bag. Okay, here they are. I finished my contrast blast socks, the West Knit socks. And let me just spotlight myself so that you can see me. Okay, let's get them in. I have to hide my face, I think. Can you see them?
Yeah. Like mostly.
Yeah, some really fun work. I especially loved this slip stitch for the heel flap. I just thought that looked so good, and it's basically like it's like you're working on the shift, except it's on the back of your heel. And I really like the toe up method, but this was top down, which was fine. And I talked to you about my excitement with the anatomically correct toes. And I love how it feels. And so I have two socks that fit my actual foot shape.
Cute.
And then I made notes as I was doing this, so of course I could make it for the second sock. And then I thought, you know what, before I completely forget what I did and I don't know what my chicken scratch means anymore, I'm going to go ahead and make a toe up version, just so I can cement for myself what I do and so I just grabbed some old sock yarn that I happen to have a small amount of. So this is the toe up version, and it looks tiny. It's really, I tried to have the right amount of negative ease for my sock, as Beth was mentioning. And so this is, right now, this is the DRK everyday sock, the Andrea Mowry sock, but I did my own toe. Anyway, so I'm excited because now I have a sock that fits my foot and is not a trapezoid. And then the other project that I have been really dying to work on, even though, got a lot of projects, but it's been in my queue for a while, is it's the Water Rock vest. And I'm knitting it inside out because it's a lot of purling. And so it's my first time knitting something inside out. So I joined it, you knit, it's got a split hem, so you knit those separately and then join it. And so I just joined in backwards. And so it's basically like a slip stitch. And it has these really sweet little detail on the side of like a broken rib, mistake rib kind of a thing. So you get these side plackets that are a little bit textured and different. And I'm using yarn that I bought at the Vermont Sheep and Wool Festival last fall with my dear friend. And it's this beautiful, can you see like the fuzziness of it? And it's very, very plush and squishy worsted. I think it comes from like 4 different sheep blends to go into this beautiful yarn. But I'm enjoying it, but I will have to say that, and this is I'm going to paraphrase one of Kristen's little mini lectures that she sometimes gives about free patterns, which, as we, I think, probably have all experienced, some free patterns are, you got what you pay for. And we love how this vest sells yarn in our shop. It's a great shop model. I think it's knit up in Cumbria in a beautiful yellow, and it's just gorgeous. It catches people's eye. But I texted Kristen because I don't think we should have that shop sample anymore, because of the way the pattern is written is really confusing. It's not a hard pattern. It's just how it's written that's unfortunate. And it's almost like if you were to imagine, what I'm doing here, all of you are, advanced enough knitters to think of it, but you have basically a front section and a back section where you're doing that reverse stockinette, or the with the slip stitch in this part, right? And then you have the side parts, where you're basically doing the exact same thing on one side of the sweater and the other. So it's basically it's easy. But the way it was written, it was like a paragraph. And so it would say, I don't know, do the mistake seed stitch rib for 16 stitches before you get to something, and then do the slip stitch in the round pattern, and then until you get 16 stitches from the end of your round, and then you're like, and so you kept having to go and like look over, okay, wait, what was the mistake rib in the round versus the flat? And I felt like I was doing gymnastics with my eyes. So I was like, I want to knit this vest and I'm committed, but I had to rewrite it for myself, just so that it was pared down and made some sense to me. So, that's sad, because that's a case where we'd like to keep giving this pattern out to people, but now I kind of feel like it's a little, especially for newer knitters, it's not actually that hard, but the way it's written makes it hard. Does that make sense?
So it's a free pattern. So can you rewrite it and give it away with your yarn that you sell?
Copyright wise, I don't think I can, unless I made some pretty major changes to the pattern.
So change the way it's worded and keep it a free pattern. And for everybody that buys the yarn to make it, they get the free pattern. We'll all do one.
It's really cute. But yeah, so that's an adventure, but I've got that figured out. And
What's the top like? Is it V-neck or round neck or?
it goes up to, that's the other problem I have with it, is the armholes are too high, and I'm like, I don't like a high arm. I want it to feel comfortable. So it's a round neck. It actually comes up kind of high like the dress I'm wearing, and there's a little bit of a roll maybe at the edge. So who knows, if I do make some drastic changes, maybe I will.
So is it split down the front? I mean, is there a V or no, it's high. You just said it was high. So
it's high, and yep, and so it comes across. I should have grabbed the sample. I could show you, but it just, comes kind of straight down. And so it's really not that complicated, but it's really, really pretty. It's simple.
Sounds like something I might like to make.
Yes, well, I could at least share with you the notes. Oh, here was the other problem with the pattern, is it only came in 6 sizes. And wait for it, the sizes were in increments of 5 inches. So I was like, well, I'm a size 40 bust, but I don't want it to fit me like a hourglass, but I don't want to make a 45. So I had to do some more. So now I'm talking myself into, maybe I should.
There you go.
You've got three changes right there, Iris. And at least in recipe development, all you have to do is make 3 changes, even if it's just proportions, to say that it's a new recipe. So I think if you lower the armhole, shift the neckline a tiny bit, and fix that one other thing you said, you've got it. And you'll still have something very similar.
Yep.
But also
call it Iris's vest.
Yeah.
Well, actually, speaking of patterns, I published my first pattern on Ravelry for the brioche beginner's hat that I made. So that was exciting. That I've been using with my brioche class. So
this vest looks kind of like a brioche from where we're sitting.
Yeah. You know what?
Like
Give
the
me a
slip
second.
stitches to that other knitting.
I'm gonna go get it for you so you can actually see it. So I'm gonna step away. You guys talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back.
Okay, who wants to start?
Does anybody know what they're doing for the next knit along?
I heard her say on one of the emails that they have made the decision.
Okay.
And she was talking about yarn or something that they were going to get in on hand. So they have made the decision. They just haven't said what yet.
Yeah, I thought she had slipped once when we were doing one of these, and she said something about a sweater.
So, okay.
Maybe we should ask her.
I think we should.
I think we should.
Yes.
Okay. We're gone. And we had a conversation, and we want you to share with us, if you can, what's our next project?
Okay. The email we're going to be announcing this coming week. So you're going to get an email about it. I can tell you it's a sweater, but all of the details will be coming this week. We had a really fun recording that we did with the designer. So we have a little video announcement too. So it'll all be coming this week. And we're going to announce it now because we'll kick it off. It's just going to be for the month of September, just 4 weeks, but it is a relatively quick knit. And we think we can do it. So stay tuned.
Give us some time to buy some yarn.
With a discount and all of the goodies. Okay, so here's
one of Alice Smith's patterns.
Which one?
I thought I excuse me, saw or read somewhere where it was one of the Birch Stream Knits patterns.
Well, I'm not going to confirm or disconfirm that right now.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the vest that I'm knitting. So you can see it's a little bit of a, and I think they did something like picked up on the edge, and the edging is really nice. It's a nice firm edging. I like how the edging looks. It looks like it's almost picked up and I've got to look at it like a it's not almost like, it almost looks crocheted to me, but I'm not sure. I haven't looked at the pattern. And then you can see the side details and there we go. And on this one has a split hem. Sorry, trying to get it to focus. How's that? Nope. God. Okay, I might have to unblur my background and you might have to see the ugly back of the wall, but that's okay. We'll do it for the sake of the Zoom. We're gonna unblur.
She's hiding in a closet, she says.
It's the back room. It's just a little messy. So it has a split hem, and I just sort of felt like I like that, but I wasn't sure. I thought I would probably wear it more if it was just like falling at my waist, like normal. You know, depending on pants or a skirt that you're wearing, it might be 4. So yeah, it's really sweet.
It almost looks like you could wear it like a tank top. Could you?
It's a little itchy, but you totally could if you did it in a different yarn. It calls for a DK light worsted yarn, so that's that.
That's change number 4, Iris.
Yes, there you go.
Oh wow. But who's counting, right? Oh. Well, let's see.
Being a free pattern, usually they don't have much character, and that one is got nice character. I mean, it's charming.
Yeah, it is charming, and it deserves to be written a little bit more clearly, I think.
Okay, well, get to it.
Might have to take that on. So let's see, what else can I tell you about that is happening? So the big email announcement that will be coming this week. We've just been getting so many new yarns that it's crazy. Like we having to like find room for everybody on the wall. Let's see, we got some Queensland does a sock weight yarn called Perth, which again has that slightly spin cycle looking kind of way of twisting. And we got some really fun new colors of that. We hadn't had many for a while, and then all of a sudden they must have released a whole bunch of new colors. So we have some of that. That's new. We just got those ridiculous stitch stoppers that maybe if you read your email this morning, you saw. Oh my God. Those been flying out the store all day today. That's fun. We've just had a lot of summer visitors. Today was a very busy day. And you know, just so many knitters who are really happy to come into a yarn store. Like they've lost their local yarn store a lot of times, and they come in and it's just so happy to see people's happy faces. And you know, sometimes you know, they just sort of feel a little emotional actually to be in a physical place where they can touch and feel and talk to people who also are nerdy about yarn, and so it's fun to be around people's excitement when that happens.
Agreed.
Yeah. And
I was thinking of something the other day, might have been today or yesterday, that I wanted to make, and I thought, if I call the shop, will they walk me through what kind of yarn? And
yeah, I mean, like that is definitely something that we have done, I think, with some people on this call right here. You know, helping with either yarn selection or with we got on, I think it was it Wendy? You and I got on
Yeah.
a FaceTime, didn't we?
We did.
And
Yeah.
Bev, maybe we got on a
We
FaceTime
did.
once.
We did when the weather was bad.
The weather was bad and the shop was very quiet. So I mean, being that it's summertime, Pat, I would say
A
that
little busier.
maybe, well, it's a little busier, so maybe we might just have to make an appointment to do it before the shop opens or something like that. But yeah, we should totally do that. What are you thinking of making?
I can't remember now what it was because I've slept a time or two since then. I was thinking to Christmas, you know, and Christmas projects that I need to make. So it's without having a yarn shop to go to feel the yarn and to test the weight.
Yep.
It's difficult to know. So
Yep.
when
Well,
I get
we're
back on
happy.
that track, I'll call you.
Okay, perfect. That sounds
Thank you.
fun. It's
When-
fun. We get to be matchmakers for yarn.
There you go.
When are you on the fiber side crawl?
We are on the fiber side crawl on August 20th.
Okay.
And we're very excited because actually she's our yarn rep, who, if you may have seen us on a video with her. She's the one that knit the anchor sweater that we have as the shop sample in yellow. And I think we hopped we did a video together where she was talking about some of the modifications she made. And so her name is Whitney, and she is our yarn rep for, I think it's Euro Yarns or Knitting Fever, I can't remember which. And she's also a pattern designer, and she has a really, really sweet pattern design that is in the phases of being test knit right now. And we are hoping to feature that on our Fiberside crawl. And the really cool part is it showcases lobsters, which we thought would be so fun for Maine, and it uses juniper moon yarn in Patagonia, which we have, which is sport, I guess. And so we're a friend of the shop is knitting us a shop sample that hopefully we'll be able to show and showcase the hats and some of the yarn. And so that would be really fun because there will be that Maine connection. But we're making a list because 15 minutes, as you know, is not a lot of time. And so we're getting really clear on what are the priorities we want to share, the things that really are special about our shop. And yeah, so it's going to be exciting. I'm going to be running the technology end of things. So I'll be on the chat answering any questions. And Chris and I have to do a tech run through one of these days and get on there and figure out where in the shop. We have to close the shop for the 15 minutes, just because it would be too crazy. Yeah. Thanks for asking that.
Yeah, no, I must say, after seeing a lot of the other shops, it's just so wonderful to see your website and how you present things. Because, you know, I'd never been to so many shops as I've gone to the websites and all this crawl, and it really makes a difference shopping just online from your shop than other shops. So.
Oh, well, that's
And
really sweet.
calling's even more fun, and I am going to get up there.
We still have your little goodie bag up here. The one thing I will also say is Kristen is in the process of working on giving our website a little bit of an upgrade. And it's a big job, and it's something that's really been a priority, but just one of those things that's hard to get to. And just the way that Google works, and we need to upgrade if we want it to show in Google the right way and whatever. So it's a priority. And you know, we've been having a lot of conversations about what do our customers, you know, want to see in terms of how the information is displayed. I mean, yarn, as we all know, it's so visual. How do we make it easier for people to find the colors that they want to, you know, like, so she's been really researching these different website templates that we're so trying a few things out. And I think she's really got one that's going to be good and going to be very user friendly and not going to feel, it's still, I believe it still will have the same feel as our website, but I think there's just going to be some improved functionality with the way the photos appear and the, you know, and showing what's in stock versus not in stock in a really visual, easy way. Yeah.
That was hard sometimes when I would go through, there'd be so many colors and you have to scroll through each one to see what's in stock and what isn't in stock. So
yeah, I think you're gonna love. She was just today showing me some of the work that she's been doing on the back end just to sort of give it a test run, and it was a very visual. You could see all of the color thumbnails, and then right next to them were all the color names. And if it wasn't in stock, it was grayed out, which I was like, oh, yes. And so I think, I'm not sure how it works. I think you can click on the name and the color appears big. I'm pretty sure that you can click on the color and have it appear big. And I don't know if it then corresponds to the color over here. I think it must. But anyway, it's like those types of details. Who has the time for it? But it's really, really important to, you know, help people feel like they can find what they need. I was just, Kristen's walking through right now with her tea, but I was just telling everybody how you've been hard at work on the website. And yep,
it's time consuming.
I was saying it's so time consuming, but I think the functionality is going to help everybody with it.
I just want to say that
I should rather be
in
knitting. I'm
addition
sure.
to the dress and the knitting, there's a theme, isn't there?
It's the rainbow theme, right?
Yes, and it's like your anchor's rainbowed.
Everything rainbow all the time. Yeah. So yes, Kristen would of course rather be knitting than working on the website.
Yeah, but yesterday actually was a day for, and my brain was actually better for doing mindless website tasks than knitting, which sounds weird, but
She was also doing something that really matters to us here in the shop, which is she was alphabetizing some of our like Rasta, which has like 5 jillion colors, 77 in fact, and then Rios, also by Malabrigo, so many colors, and it's a sort of a tedious task, but she took it on. And today, one of my coworkers here in the shop, something didn't scan, and she had to look through the whole list on the point of sale to get to the right color. And she opened it up and she was like, "Oh, it's alphabetized." Why didn't we do it a long time ago, right? I know. Oh,
It's the little things.
the little things like the alphabetizing. I know. Oh. Well, let's see, what else can we tell you about that's fun?
Are you gonna share the link to your brioche hat pattern in a newsletter?
Oh, that's so sweet. I feel a little weird because I'm the one who writes the newsletters to like promote my new pattern, but I will definitely also put it in the show notes for this recording too. And so with the brioche hat pattern, what I did is, because I wrote it for my beginners, and so with the one pattern purchase, you actually get the same pattern but written 2 different ways. So the first way is what I consider my easy reader brioche, and I've used the abbreviations that to me make or maybe describe the actual action of what you're doing with your yarn a little bit easier than just the standard brioche language, which, hey, everybody here knows how to do a yarn over and everybody here knows how to do a slip one, but in brioche, the yarn over slip one actually means something kind of different. So I have the grown-up version for people to use once they feel like they understand the moves, and then they can graduate to the other version of the pattern. But yeah, I will totally do that. Thanks.
Thank you. I'm excited to try another brioche pattern style because I've done so many different ones and ripped out a lot of them. So I'm really excited to try it. Thank you.
And I made a lot of videos, of course, to sort of help my beginners as well. Because it is, I remember just the frustration of feeling like the questions I was having about what to do about little things. You know, do you hang your yarn in the front or the back at the beginning of the round? Like nobody was breaking it down in a way that made sense to me. So I tried to make something and really design my class around what I wish I had had.
And the decreases. Oh,
The decrease. I only used the easy decrease in this hat pattern. I only used the left leaning one. So
good.
didn't want to overwhelm the beginners too much.
Well, I'm definitely a beginner. I've never done it, so I would like it, but I would like to try it. So
Great. Good news. Well, you know who to email if you get mad about the pattern. You can email me and shake your fist.
And what weight is it? What weight yarn did you use?
I used worsted. I used 2 skeins. It's a 2-color hat. I used Malabrigo worsted actually because it's so nice and squishy and fuzzy, and I felt like especially for beginners the stitches the yarn holds on to each other because it has those plies. It's not a superwash, so I thought that might be an easier way to start for newbies.
And again, picking out the color, you did 2 colors.
I
right?
did, and I suggest 2 high contrast colors, especially for those newer to briochers. Yeah.
And that's exciting.
Yeah, I had fun with it. I really worked at it, and I gave the pattern in terms of pattern testing. I shared the pattern with 2 of my good friends, one of whom had tried a bit of brioche, and I didn't really know this, but both of them admitted to me later. I mean, I picked them because I know they're knitters and that they would try it for me, right? And then they both admitted separately to me that they're terrible at reading patterns. So it actually was perfect because they raised some issues, and I took their feedback to heart in terms of just organizing it again, visually making it easy. So they were great to do that.
Second. So I found my way back.
You found your way back. Good.
It kicked me out.
Oh, really?
Here,
That's weird. Well, we didn't intend to do that. We were just sitting here knitting.
I
But
thought maybe everybody was in the dark.
if
Welcome back.
anybody has any photos to send, I know Pat, I hope that you'll send me a picture of your cowl.
I'll do
I'd love
that.
to have that. But if anybody has any other finished objects to share, great. And if not, we'll be wrapping up with our final finish along newsletter this week, and then taking a little bit of a break while we gear up for the knit along in September, which we're pretty psyched about.
Did you have a good vacation?
I did. It was so lovely, Wendy. Thank you. A beautiful time in Cape Breton Islands. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's gorgeous. Only because I signed in last week too, and then I realized, oh, you're on vacation.
Yeah, actually I was back last week, but I knew I would just be catching up with everything. So we didn't have the Zoom last week, but it was lovely. Thank you.
Oh, nice. Well, thank you so much for all of this.
Oh,
Wonderful. Really.
this has been really fun. I love this community. You know, when I talk to people in the shop and it's like, you want to get on your newsletters? And they say like, oh, I'm not from here. And I was like, well, we have a pretty nice community of knitters online that are our remote goat community. And so who knows, maybe we'll see some new faces in the fall.
Good.
good.
Well, thank you guys for participating. Congratulations on so many finished objects and progress made on the projects that you've been feeling like they've been weighing you down maybe a little bit. So it's great.
Thank
Nice
you.
to see.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the encouragement to get us finished some of our projects that we started, that we wanted to start. So
Yeah. Absolutely. So nice to see everybody and to spend these little hours with each other. And so we'll take a break, but we'll pick it right back up in a few weeks.
Okay, we look forward to
Okay,
your
thank you.
emails.
All right, very
Yes.
good. Have a great night,
Okay.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay,
Bye.
bye. Take
Bye.
care.